Hey, Kanika, how's it going?
Hey, Victoria. How's the day been?
Good. I have an offer, and that's my only offer, so I know where I'm going for next term. Do you know where you're going for co-op?
First of all, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
No, I don't know yet because I got ranked from two companies and I have an offer, but I don't really know which one to pick because there's a lot of things that matter when it comes to picking a job, right? I mean, I want to stay close to home, but the work responsibilities and the size of the company also really matters to me.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to make a decision because, again, we only have a weekend. There's very limited time. There's very limited information in order to make a decision. So I'm still deciding.
Actually, have you tried this app? It allows you to pick what factors are important to you when coming to choosing a job, and then it takes your inputs on how good the companies are for those factors, and then it just gives you a rank, and then you can just go from there.
So basically, I'm able to input in what matters to me when it comes to picking a company. And I can just input in the companies that have offers or ranks from, and then it decides for me.
Yeah, seems like exactly what you need.
That's amazing. Let me give it a shot.
Welcome to CECA's offer planning tool. Let's help Kanika today evaluate between the different positions that she's confused about. First, we would request her to choose the number of offers and positions she would like to compare. On the next screen, she would be asked to list down all these positions and companies. As you can see, this tool is not just limited to companies, but also positions at respective companies. Kanika here is listing down Google, Tesla, PM by RBC, BA at RBC, and GoFleet as her top companies of comparison. Next, we would request her to choose the factors that matter to her the most when she's making a decision in terms of a co-op. After this, we would be comparing these factors with one another on a 1-to-1 ratio basis. As you can see, Kanika here says that work responsibilities matter to her much more than money does. However, money can play a better role when being compared with company prestige. Similarly, all the other factors like work responsibilities, prestige, close to home, personality fits are also compared in the similar fashion. On the next screen, we would be comparing each factor and how it stands between companies. So in this case, as you can see, Google clearly is way more important and actually it has a better weightage than Tesla or any of the other positions. All the other companies are also being compared in a similar fashion. The reason why we ask users to compare these factors separately is because when these are being broken down into smaller parts, users can actually rank and compare between different positions much easily. Once the user is done comparing the different factors with one another, they hit next to reach our recommendations on how these positions rank, based off the factors that they chose earlier. If they're not satisfied or would like to play with this further, they can hit sensitivity analysis. Choose a factor, scroll the slider across the bar to see how the change in weight can affect the rank. Like for example in this case, on moving work responsibilities from 1 towards 0, Tesla becomes the top priority as compared to PM at RBC. Once satisfied, you could go to the previous page or restart the application to reach your homepage. Let's now move over to how we are actually calculating these ranks. The input from the user is taken and stored in this matrix which compares each factor with one another. If the user says that factor 2 is way more important than factor 1, we can also say that factor 1 is similarly less important as compared to factor 2. This is then normalized and stored in the matrix that follows. All the other factors are compared similarly and added to the Excel spreadsheet. The grading, as we can see, is shown in the table here where 1 being equally important and 9 towards the factor which is more important. Once the input is received from users regarding all factors, we run a set of formulas that basically calculate the final score of these total weightages. Next, we rank these positions depending upon the total score they made. The tables below that focus on the sensitivity analysis on different factors, as shown in the demo before. This implementation of AHP analysis was done using VBA scripting. All the user forms front end was created on VBA. The forms were connected to one another and the user input from these forms was pushed over to the Excel spreadsheet. The limitation that we had with this is that we assume the consistency by which a user makes a decision when comparing factors is less than 0.1. This means that they are often quite consistent. However, this is not always the case, as biases often creep in when users are making a decision or comparing factors with one another. Another drawback of AHP analysis is that this model is quite limited to about 5 factors. As the number of factors increases to say about 9, this model can get quite tiresome, as it requires a lot more user input, which can get tedious. By the use of this model, we hope that we were able to provide our best recommendation to Kanika as she makes a decision towards what position she would like to accept.
That was so much easier than me sitting here making a pros and cons list. I mean, it honestly took in all the factors that were important to me, all the companies I was evaluating between, and then gave me a final decision. And I feel like I'm a lot more confident about my choice.
Don't forget, it also saved you a lot of time, right?
Oh my God, yes. Thank you.
Hey, do you know where you're going for next term yet?
Wait, that was so much easier than me sitting over here making a pros and cons list and a decision matrix and going nowhere with my thoughts